Good morning. I'm sorry I'm running a minute or two late. I do apologize for that. Had everything set up and ready to go in just seconds before we started to stream. All three of our internet networks here in Texas, out here in rural Texas, crashed. All three of them. So I ran out rebooting systems and got one working. So we are up, we're running, and keep our fingers crossed that everything holds out. So without further ado, I apologize for being late. Let's get right into it. Well, it's been an interesting few days. We are literally under 10 days to the election. I mean, it is just this is it, folks. We are just finishing it up. We are 9 days out. Good. We're still going. Everything is great. Great. Awesome. Everything's working. God, love it. Yeah, I mean, this is it. This is it. This is the last one. Can you believe that our next show will be on Wednesday, and that will be less than a week, and we will be done. We will be done with this. And I got to tell you, folks, it is looking good. It really is looking good. There have been a few hiccups along the way. You know, we had Jeff Bezos is one of the things I want to talk about today. Because it is actually, and again, I'd say this all the time, the corporate media is, they're missing the big story here. They're missing the really big picture. But we're going to dig into it. Jerry Anderson, thanks for the support. I appreciate you, my man. And congratulations on selling that wood-burning stove. I don't know why you sold it. They're wonderful. That's what I'm going to, when I build my shop, I'm putting a wood-burning stove out there just to have one there. They love the way they smell. They love everything about them, man. I'm surprised you actually get part of that. But thank you for the support. I appreciate you, my friend. But yeah, Jeff Bezos. You had the Washington Post, which we subscribe to. You support the show. We subscribe to the Washington Post because I like to quote some of their journalism, and they do have some good journalism in-house. But, you know, Houston, we've got a problem. A lot of people are canceling their subscriptions. I'm seriously thinking about it. I mean, I use the Washington Post for their journalism. I've told you many times, I am not a journalist. I am a commentator. I rely on the work of good journalists, and there are a few in the Washington Post. It's one of the sources I found that you can find some reliable stories there, but it is a mess. And I'm seriously thinking about canceling that subscription. A lot of people have. I mean, I just saw a comment in the chat that somebody's actually canceled their subscription already. There you go. And this is what's driving me. Steve, cancel it. We need to show them that we will not stand for it. Let's dig into it. Let's talk about what's happening over there. I mean, because it really has blown up. It isn't just Jeff Bezos squashed an endorsement and that's it, and we're going to move on. No, there's a mess. This headline just nails it. This is out of the Daily Beast. Washington Post erupts in a civil war as Jeff Bezos censors its Kamala Harris endorsement. Yeah, Uh, it is a real mess out there. You have individual editors in the paper coming out and endorsing Kamala Harris, saying, "Fire me, do it, do it." The comedy editor came out and said, "Look," of all people, the comedy editor said, "Look, I'm going to do it. We agreed that we would endorse her, and I'm going to do it." The editor in chief told Jeff Bezos, pretty frankly, said, "If you don't have the balls to own a newspaper, don't." And I tell you, that's really what it boils down to. Jeff, I appreciate the support, my friend. Feeling confident about Harrison Walls' vote? I did 3 weeks ago. Amen. A lot of people did. We're going to talk about voter turnout in New York and a couple other places too. I mean, things are really looking good, folks. If we keep our foot on the gas, things are really looking good. I didn't get enough coffee this morning. I am just guzzling it right now. You have to forgive me. But yeah, let's talk about Jeff Bezos and what's behind this. You know, Bezos did what a lot of guys around my age do. He went out, started getting those testosterone treatments and hit the gym, and he's trying to revitalize himself, reshape his image. Of course, it appears to be that whole midlife crisis thing or something going on there, because he divorced his longtime wife and got remarried and went out and bought a cowboy hat. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I don't. You know, I was born in Texas. I was raised in Texas. I've worn these my entire life. I just have. I've worn these my entire life. You can go back and find pictures of me of a kid. I've either got a fedora on, because I went through this fedora craze for a while, or a cowboy hat. You know, I mean, and no, it's not because I'm bald. I'm not bald. But yeah, I don't get this. Elon Musk and all of them running out want to. It's not even play cowboy. You know, it's because, just because, you got a cowboy hat doesn't mean you're a cowboy. Hell, I am not a cowboy. I am not a cowboy. A cowboy is a profession. I am retired. I do not run cows. I do not, the cows you see in the videos from my property were my brother-in-law's cows. Those were not my cows. I am not. No, that is a dirty, low-paid job. No, I am not a cowboy. But, if you grow up here, you grow up in the culture, this is what you wear. I don't understand that whole, anyways, I'm going to stop ranting about that. But yeah, Bezos wanted to rebrand himself as a tough guy. I mean, as you can tell, I mean, it's a tough guy. Barbara Lanky, thank you for the support. Bezos has a severely skewed view of himself. Yeah, a lot of people his age, our age, I say his age, our age, do. I'm pretty damn close in age to Bezos. Sherry, he wants his billions. God forbid he pays his fair share in taxes. Yeah. And that is one take that a lot of people are going with, but I don't think that's it, folks. I really don't, because you know me, I'm all about past is prologue. Read a history book. Look at what's going on around you. And I don't think it's just cowardice. I don't think it's just about greed, and I think Donald Trump's going to let me get richer and whatnot. I think it is in part cowardice, but that's not the whole deal. If you look at what happens under fascist regimes, I literally believe this is fear of the 2025 project and fear that Donald Trump just might get elected. That is what is driving this. 100%. That is what is driving this. Thanks for the support, Lord. Because I'll be honest with you, Bezos isn't the only one out there. This is Patrick Sun-Yang. He's the billionaire owner of the LA Times. Same thing. Editorial board resigned. The editor resigned because he did the exact same thing. He crushed the endorsement of Kamala Harris. Because at this point, anybody with an education, anybody with any actual political knowledge, they know. I mean, there's really only one choice in this election. So why are these guys doing this? Look at Putin. Look at Putin. Look at a history book. Go back to any period. Pick a dictator. Stalin, Hitler, Mussolini. You know who did really well with those guys? The billionaires. Yeah, I mean, they had to bend the knee. Look at Putin today. His oligarchs. Yeah, they have to bend the knee. They do. They have to bow. They have to do what they're told, and they can never oppose. They can never, ever, ever oppose dear leader on anything. But they do really, really well. In fact, they do better than they would under a democratic system. Because dear leader, in exchange for their support, gives them monopolies, protects them, puts their thumb on the scale for the ones that are, dance with the one that brung you, right? That's what we're seeing. And that's what the corporate media is absolutely missing here. These billionaires are shooting their shot. They are shooting their shot because they know historically we do great under fascism. And they're running as fast as they can to be the ones that suck up to Trump just in case, because they're really thinking, and this is the part that is just absolutely gobsmacking. Guys like Elon Musk, guys like, hold on, I need a sip of coffee. Man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine this morning. That is really hitting. I needed that this morning. But guys like Elon Musk, they're really thinking that when this election's over, everything goes back to normal. Jeff Bezos, he's really thinking, just don't endorse. I didn't say anything bad about your guy, even though he did. I mean, Bezos had no problem with calling for Biden to step down. Full-throated screaming all the time. Biden needs to step down. He had no problem diving into politics on that. Thanks for the support, Rena. I really appreciate it. I had no problem at all calling on Biden to step down. Why? Because I know we Democrats, we're not going to punish them for that. We're not going to do that. But this is an in-your-face example from the billionaires among us that they know. They know what the 2025 project is. They know what Donald Trump is. They know what he's going to do. Yeah, good question, new kid. How many millions are their souls worth? They know. They know what Donald Trump will do. They know what we're headed for. Everything I've told you about the 2025 project, they're confirming for you right now. They have no problem disparaging or running articles attacking Democrats at all because they know who we are. They know we believe in the freedoms of the press. We know we stand behind the First Amendment so much that we will stand there and protect you while you say things that make our blood boil. But they know they won't. They know the Republicans will not. And that's where the cowardice comes in. It's a calculation, folks. They know. They know 100%. It doesn't hurt them to support a fascist. It doesn't. Putin's oligarchs today are doing fantastic. They are rolling in rubles. Rolling in rubles. But here's the thing, folks. Here's the thing. Brooklyn Janet, how many laws have been passed about men's rights to control their bodies? 0. Yet over 400 laws have been passed for women that restrict abortion access to access to contraceptives in some states. Amen, Janet. Amen. And thank you for the support. I appreciate you. Louis Kilgo. That's a cool name, man. Kilgo. I've never heard that one before. That's really cool. SpaceX has some truly brilliant engineers. I wonder how many of them now cringe silently whenever Elon is in the room. Yeah, that's exactly where I was about to go. I don't think these billionaires really understand where we are. And I want this part of the discussion to be really interactive, because I'm checking myself. Are we really where I think we are? I'll be honest with you. I think Tesla's done. I do. I think it's done as a company. At exactly the worst time, that company, its CEO, Elon Musk, and owner Elon Musk, decided this is when he would, well, let's be honest, let's just piss all over his customer base. Just like the Washington Post, there are no Republicans reading the Washington Post. Very few. It's us. It's me. I'm the subscription at the Washington Post. Not anymore. I mean, you folks have convinced me. After the show, I'm going to go cancel our subscription to the Washington Post. I will find someone else to quote. I'll find other journalists to work with. I think the same thing with Tesla. Who bought Teslas? Who bought Teslas? We did. People that cared about climate change. You think Republicans give a crap about climate change? No. They want the government to hurt manufacturers of electric cars. They do. So when this is all said and done, and this is, I want your input on this. I really believe this is different. This isn't, the temperature will go down. As soon as the election's over, the temperature will go down. I truly believe that this is a very different feeling election. I feel like people are watching the corporate media and the things they do, and it's just a bridge too far. They're sellout in order. I mean, because of people like me and smart people like you that have watched the corporate media do everything they can to try to keep this a horse race so that they can get their ad revenue money. I don't think people are going to shrug that off. I don't think after the election we're just going to go to watching coverage of football and it's going to be okay. I don't think Tesla's going to be okay. I think Tesla's going to go broke. They've got an earnings report coming out, and I don't think they're going to end up doing well at all. In a booming economy, Tesla continues to struggle. I think the first economic downturn, and there will be in the future, folks. I mean, yes, the economy is freaking amazing right now, but no economy just rockets straight up forever. There's always dips, always corrections, always, I don't think Tesla survives the first one. I don't. Their earnings have been collapsing. And I don't know. Am I wrong there, folks? Am I wrong? Brian Pisha says, helping to get us a studio for great content. Thank you. I appreciate that, brother, because that is really what I am pinching every damn penny to try to come up with rent, to prepay rent so that we don't end up in a situation where if the show slows down or something like that, I'm just, Yeah, that is where we're going, folks. We're looking to try to find a studio in town so that we can get a cable connection, and we never have these internet problems again. Kirk Stromberg says Trump, Musk, and Putin are working as a trifecta. This is one of the biggest scandals in history. I cannot wait for Kamala's AG pick. Indictments are going to drop like a hailstorm in 2025. Absolutely. Elon Musk has come out and said Donald Trump doesn't win. He's screwed. I do. I just feel this is different. I just feel this is, and it looks like from your comments, you do too. Jen Reckenberg, Tesla cooked the books last week. It's a short sale from here on out. Yeah. Yeah. Their earnings reports are not looking great. They're not. And you've got competition. I don't know if you folks have seen the new Scout that's come out. It is amazing. You remember the International Scout pickup trucks and the Travelalls? I grew up in the back of a Travelall. My dad loved International Harvesters. He did. My grandfather drove an International Harvester pickup. Yeah, the Scout is back, baby. Scout Motors. Volkswagen bought International Harvester, the big truck company. And when they did, they got the rights to the brand. And they have come out with an all-electric truck and SUV, the Scout Traveler, and paying homage to the Scout Travelall. It looks amazing, amazing. It's a real conundrum because I was loving the VW bus. I'm all in on what VW is doing with their electric vehicles. I am. The bus is cool as hell, and I was seriously thinking about, we've got a great car now, but a couple years from now we're going to need to replace it. And I was seriously thinking about trying to talk Mrs. Paul into getting going fully electric, which is difficult for us because, like I said, we're rural. Like if we want to go down and take a cruise or something like that, it means stopping to recharge. But the new Scout has an onboard generator. They call it range assist. It's got a small gas-powered generator. It's all electric, but it's got a gas power. It takes the range from like 300 to over 500 miles, which would suit us perfectly. I'm seriously going to keep an eye on that Traveler. Francis Rinaldi says, I took my friend to early vote. He hasn't voted since 2012. God bless you. God bless you, Francis. Thank you for the support. For one thing, $50 is a lot of money, but I really appreciate it. I do. I really appreciate it. But God bless you for taking people to vote. That is how we get it done. That is how we get it done. Danny, Doodalito. Dude, I almost called you a dildo, man. I'm so sorry. Danny Doodle, I'm glad I read that twice, man. Woo! Thank you for the support, brother. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. That's Danish Coders right there. That's our international audience right there. And I'm sitting here almost insulting them. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Dorothy Devine, Elon is forgetting how much he gets from government contracts. Yeah. And with the big story of him being constantly in contact with Putin, how do you, I realize these fascists, these billionaires, they're a different class. They have, Ford was a huge Hitler supporter. He was a straight up Nazi supporter. GM, their Opel division, we've talked about this before. Whenever you see old footage of Nazis, literal Nazi soldiers riding in trucks, that's an Opel Lightning. Opel was a division of General Motors. Yeah, America's General Motors. These guys think that they're just going to walk away from this. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't. I think people have had enough of this crap. And there are enough people out there like me that are pointing saying, hey, look at this. Look at this. Kirk Summers and Musk pulled Starlink from Ukraine and is feeding it to Russia. This is exactly why I know he is directly associating with Putin and is the literal enemy of the state. Yeah, that is an investigation. What he's talking about there, that is an investigation. I've been keeping my eye on it. We're going to do a story on it when more comes out from the investigation. But what he's talking about is somehow despite the fact that it is illegal for them to be sold, Russia keeps coming up with Starlink terminals. In fact, so much so that one of their drones has Starlink terminals built into them. They're claiming, Starlink is saying, well, they're buying them illegally on the black market in Europe. And everybody keeps saying, wait a minute, you keep telling us you can track that. Why aren't you noticing? You know, I mean, this is going to be huge. There's a reason Elon Musk says he is screwed if Donald Trump loses this election, when Donald Trump loses this election. Stephen Armstrong, thank you for the support. Maybe Bezos is trying to stay neutral because he knows what Trump will do in shuttering his newspaper. Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. Part of it is straight up cowardice. The other part of it is a calculation that, yeah, while the 2025 project puts you under a boot, he's going to be just fine. He's going to be just fine. That's the whole point of this opening story. Thanks for the comment, man. I mean, you just helped me lay it out there perfectly. Mr. Knudsen, my friend from Norway, good to see you. Paul needs an electric truck, a set of solar panels, and small wind generator. You know, we're actually saving for that. You know, I don't know about you folks. I've always lived beneath my means. I always have. That is one of the things. When we built this house, this is our retirement home. When we built this house, we didn't have it in the budget to go solar. It just wasn't there. But it's what we want to do. So what we've been doing is we've been saving. We knew about 20, 25 years in, we're going to have to strip the roof off this thing, put a new roof on. We've been saving so that when we have to do that next roof, we're going all solar. The funds will be there. That's the way you got to live, folks. You got to pinch those pennies to make things happen. Jason Crew, thank you for the support, brother. I appreciate you. You're the ones keeping this show going. Trina Longa is in the house, man. More of those Danish kroner. We own a Tesla. We've had it for years, but we would never buy one today. And our family, we are looking for a new car. Will not be a Tesla. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know, we made Tesla. Trina, you made Tesla. It wasn't Elon Musk. It was our desire to buy a vehicle when the auto manufacturers were telling us, shut up, we know best. We said, no, we want electric vehicles. We want to stop this dependence on Russian oil and Saudi oil and all the political nonsense that comes with it. We want to stop that, and we want to help the environment. So we made Tesla. Well, that's over. Chevrolet makes electric vehicles. Do me a favor. Who's making your favorite electric vehicles out there? There's Polestar. There's, Rivian. My good friend, my good friend Christopher Titus just bought a brand new Rivian. Sold his Tesla, bought a brand new Rivian. I don't know anybody personally. Kia is a huge one. Honda's, I'm very disappointed. We have been a Honda family. My wife loves Hondas. They are behind on the electric market. GM is actually making Honda's 2025 electric vehicle. I don't know if you knew that. But Kia went all in, man. Ford. Audi is making some incredible stuff. Yeah. See, this was an environment that didn't live until we forced it into existence. We made Elon Musk. We made Tesla. And I think that era is over. I don't know anybody that is saying, man, I can't wait to go out and get me a Tesla. There are just too many options out there from people that are not freaking fascists. But yeah, folks, just to sum it up, we're going to move on. That's the story I think the corporate media is missing. Is that not only is it an act of cowardice on Bezos's part, on Patrick Soon-Shiong's part, and the rest of these billionaires, I think that they are shooting their shot. I think that these guys are saying, Yeah, democracy had a good run, but we do well under a fascist. History says as long as we bend the knee and Trump is easily manipulatable, they'll just run flattering stories, put pretty pictures of Trump, with fake muscles on the cover, on the front page, and they'll be fine. It's us. It's you and me. We're the ones that get screwed. Lucid's another one. Yeah. I don't know, folks. I'll be honest with you. I can't read the man's mind, but to me, that's exactly what it feels like. Cowardice and the acceptance that the oligarchs never get affected by the disaster headed our way. And I mean, it is a big deal, folks. It is a big deal. Well, we got another story to talk about, and that is voter fraud. You've had these right wingers out there just talking about voter fraud as much as they could. They're already doing the it's a rigged election thing. They're already claiming it's rigged. And I got to tell you, folks, I mean, it's really getting traction on the right. I mean, they really want to believe that stuff. So just to remind you, it wasn't rigged. You're just a loser. You're just a loser. And this cup is going to be absolutely spot on in just a few days, a week from Tuesday. Oh, a fresh cup of coffee. Thank you, Mrs. Texas Paul. But I tell you what, they thought they had some. Oh, Cliff Maloney here. He considers himself to be a sleuth, a ballot chaser. Man, he found it. He found that voter fraud. He did. Man, Cliff Maloney here. And let me tell you, this went mega viral. Mega viral. And it's still up. He still got it up. He claims that there are 53 voters at one address. No way, man. No way. Yahweh, bud. Yahweh. 2.7 million views. It's a monastery. It's a monastery. It's a monastery. The nuns went out and registered to vote. And of course, you've got nutball Ryan. You remember the crazy bastard that showed up at Comet Ping Pong in Washington, D.C., a D.C. pizza place. A DC pizza place. It was a family place. It is a family place. It's still open, by the way. If you're in the DC area, go support Comet Ping Pong, man. They didn't deserve any of this to happen. But a nutball like this that's an idiot that considers himself to be, some sort of crusader, goes out and puts out that there's voter fraud here, man. There's voter fraud here. That happens over and over and over again because that's what these people want to hear. They want to hear that there's voter fraud. We don't want to hear there's voter fraud. We want to hear that our election is healthy and in good shape. That's what we want to hear. They want these conspiracy theories. So, back in the day when Hillary Clinton was running for office, one of these nutters spun a story that said Hillary Clinton was trafficking children out of a Washington, D.C. pizza place called Comet Ping Pong out of the basement. So one of their nutters showed up with an AR-15 at Comet Ping Pong. And I want you to imagine this. You're the manager of Comet Ping Pong. You're the hostess. This guy walks in with an AR-15, starts barking orders at the staff that he wants, take me to the kids or I will kill you. What the fuck do you do? They kept telling him, we don't have kids. What are you talking about? Take me to the basement or I'll kill you. There is no basement. This building doesn't have a basement. Do you think he was convinced? I mean, could you imagine how much you would be dying inside just watching this deluded, crazy ass person demand that you take him to a basement that doesn't exist? How do you diffuse that? I mean, how do you diffuse? Thank God that manager was smart enough to say, look, I will show you every square inch of this place. Just stay calm. And he walked him around that entire restaurant. And somebody called the police while he was walking around. The police showed up and arrested the guy. But they believe it. They believe it. Just like these nuns, they're getting people showing up at their monastery because this frickin' moron said there's 50 people registered at this one address. It is voter fraud. It is voter fraud. So much so that CNN had to do a national story to say, no, these are nuns. Leave them alone. They live here. Yes, they're registered to vote. It's okay. But in the meantime, we got this. You know, the Republicans are saying, oh, man, look at our voter registration numbers. We're tearing it up, man. It's a red wave. Woo, we're going to take Pennsylvania. We're going to take Pennsylvania. Look at these voter registration numbers, man. Fox News is all in, crisscrossing Pennsylvania to register voters. Scott Pressler, this is Scott Pressler. Oh, yeah, that looks like the guy that's going to save something. Says he's moving the needle as key counties flip red. And they did. They had some inroads in their voter registration. They did. They had voter registration. They figured out swing states matter. That's why I tell you, you have to vote. You cannot take your foot off the gas. But that's how it started. This is how it's going. This is District Attorney, the Attorney General of Pennsylvania. This is how it's going. Forgive me, this is a 4-minute video, but it is worth hearing.
Good morning, everyone. District Attorney Heather Adams. On Tuesday afternoon, I was contacted by Krista Miller, who is our Chief Clerk of Elections, regarding potentially fraudulent voter registration applications that had recently been received by her office. At that time, she informed me that the Elections Office received approximately 2,500 applications at or near the deadline for registering to vote. While preparing to process these applications, staff noticed that numerous applications appeared to have the same handwriting, were filled out on the same day with unknown signatures, and some were previously registered voters.
And I apologize. I said she was the Attorney General of the state of Pennsylvania. I'm sorry. This is Heather Adams. She's the District Attorney of Lancaster County. She's the one investigating this. And this investigation has expanded now to several other Pennsylvania counties.
Excuse me. And the signatures on file did not match the signatures on the application. So before I begin to summarize our preliminary findings, I must remind everyone that this is an ongoing investigation, and for that reason, I will be limited in the details that I can provide. Lancaster County detectives began investigating the voter registration applications and immediately found applications that were indeed fraudulent. Indicators of fraud included inaccuracies with the addresses listed on the applications, false personal identification information, as well as false names. A number of the applications also contained names that did not match the provided Social Security information. In some cases, applications contained correct personal identification information, such as the correct address, correct phone number, date of birth, driver's license number, and social security number. But the individuals listed on the applications informed detectives that they did not request the form, they did not complete the form, and verified that the signature on the form was not theirs. At this point, it is believed that the fraudulent voter registrations are connected to a large-scale canvassing operations for voter registrations that date back to June. However, the majority of the applications received are dated August 15th and after. Those canvassing for voter registrations were employed and paid to obtain voter registration applications. The majority of the applications were from residents in the city of Lancaster. However, applications were also received from residents in Columbia, Elizabethtown, Mountjoy, Akron, Ephrata, Stevens, Strasburg, as well as other locations across Lancaster County. The canvasses themselves took place at various shopping centers, parking lots of grocery stores and businesses, sidewalks, and parks. During this preliminary investigation,
you get the idea. This is she goes on and on about how, well, this is now expanded to other counties. Turns out that whole Republican canvassing, where they were running to the media and claiming, oh, look at all these numbers. We're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win. Yeah, that's 2,500 in Lancaster County alone. And it's spread to other counties. Yeah, folks, if you keep doing what you're doing, if you keep working at it, if you vote, if you haven't voted, if you get out there and you vote, we're going to win this. Everything the right has been spouting has been fictional. Even the polls the corporate media are playing, have been playing to try to make this look like, it's a horse race so that they can keep their ad money coming in. They're out of the margin of error. We just had another poll come out here. I've got it for you. We've got another poll that just came out. 1 second. I got the tab for you. There we go. Greg Sargent, by the way, I'm telling you, this is a good follow. If you're still on X, and I know it's a hellhole, but if you're still on X, Greg Sargent is a good follow. He is a good follow. He's a writer for the New Republic. He is a good follow, good information. This is out of the margin of error, folks. It's an ABC Ipsos poll. It's one of the advertising polls. This isn't, I keep telling you, there's different kinds of polling. There's targeted polling that campaigns pay for, that is hyper expensive. It requires tons of legwork and manpower. So you don't get those nationally. You just don't get those nationally. Campaigns can't afford to pay for those nationally. It's really freaking expensive because they really go out and hi, how you doing? I need to ask you some questions. Just not, let me call everybody with a landline. Those hyper accurate polls have been showing this trend ahead of time. But even I call them advertising polls that the corporate media is paying for, they're out of the margin of error now. Do not get complacent. Do not get complacent. All of that means nothing if you don't show up and vote. The only thing that matters is voting. And I will say it again. I'm going to stop. I'm going to pause the show and I'm going to say this again. If you are a blue dot in a red state, exactly, Don Hall, polls don't vote. If you are a blue dot in a red state and you're thinking to yourself, man, it don't matter if I get out and vote for them local Democrats. The Republicans always win. My vote don't matter. And, it's just a drop in the, it matters. It matters. And this is why it matters. Listen to me. When I tell you my blue dots, let me tell you, Republicans rely on margins in rural county to make up for their losses in urban areas. If you vote, you deny them those vote margins. Yes, they'll still get their votes out of the red counties. They will. But they will also, your blue votes will be there, and they will not get the margins of victory they need in those rural counties to make up for those urban districts. I argue that your rural blue vote is the most important vote. So pretty please, get out there. Do it. You've just got to do it. You can tell, though, you can really tell the way things are trending. New York just started its early voting, already setting records. Already. New York City, way to go. New York State has set records for early voting already. I'm telling you, folks, it is on. It is on. Keep your foot on the gas. Keep your foot on the gas. But you can tell. You can really tell. I'm not going to play a lot of Trump. I'm not going to do it. I get sick of hearing his voice. This was a clip from the Joe Rogan interview. This is the dumbest lie he tells. And he really believes it. And he really thinks that this LGBTQ plus hate is going to carry him to the promised land. He thinks the bigotry against immigrants and the bigotry against our LGBTQ plus brothers and sisters is going to help him among black male voters. Michael McAndrews, blue is my favorite color. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the support. I really do. Sharon Reddy, every vote counts. The popular total is the support against the places they prepared to cheat. Yes. It is huge, folks. Your rural vote matters so damn much. Danny Doodleito, thank you for the support again, my friend. If you think you're too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. I love that. Amen. 100%. Amen. But you can tell, folks, you really can tell how things are going. This is Kamala Harris. Kind of an inside joke there. Everybody was expecting her to screw up Kalamazoo because it's kind of a tradition that politicians go into Kalamazoo, Michigan, in their rallies, and they screw up saying Kalamazoo. And they really thought that Kamala was going to end up screwing up Kalamazoo. And anyways, I'll just let you play it. I mean, you can feel the difference. I'll come back and play that Joe Rogan clip in just a second.
So Kalamazoo, listen, you all know, before I was vice president, I was a United States Senator. And before that, I know you want to say Kamala Zoo. I heard you.
When you're losing and your polling tells you you're losing, you ain't that happy. You are not that happy. Juxtapose that against Donald Trump here in the friendliest of friendly audiences. He's on Joe freaking Rogan, and Joe Rogan tried really hard to keep him. I mean, he did. At one point during the interview, Joe Rogan actually tells him, man, your weave's getting really wide here. I need you to focus it. I mean, he was coaching him during the interview. But Operation Let the Dumbass Talk never fails. It never fails. He was talking about being a whale psychologist and how them windmills are hurting whales, man. The vibrations from them windmills are just killing whales. And Donald Trump said he wants to be a whale psychologist. Yes, those words really left his mouth. JD Christie, I really appreciate your support. I really do. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, when you're losing, you ain't that happy. You aren't. You have a demeanor more like this. This is look at his body language and the way he talks and the way this is not a guy that's being told he's winning.
Who would want to have these things? Who would want to have, there's so many, the transgender operations where they're allowed to take your child when he goes to school and turn him into a male, to a female, without parental consent. Who would want to have these things?
Yeah. Really? Really? I mean, it is testimony to just how stupid MAGA is, how uninformed MAGA is, that they have no clue that transgender surgery is so incredibly invasive and requires weeks and weeks of recovery, days and days in the hospital. It is one of the most major surgeries you can ever have. And this dipshit thinks that kids are going to school. You drop them off in the morning, you drop off little Billy and he comes back and it's little, you got a daughter? Really? That's what they're doing in our schools? You think that? Not reading, writing, and arithmetic. Yeah, they're doing sex changes, I guess, in the back of the cafeteria. They're, set up a clinic and they're knocking out those transition surgeries. And apparently they've got new technology that is way beyond any medical facility because they're not, one day and the kid comes walking out just fine, drop them off in the morning, pick them up in the evening, kids come skipping out and it's, had a sex change. He's saying that out loud a lot. Yeah. And I know, folks, it's a cult. You're going to have this core. It doesn't matter. He could literally drop his pants on stage, squat down, crap in his hand, and then throw that crap on the sweetest, most innocent little child. And his cult would come up with a reason why that was appropriate. They would. They would. That's just who they are, what they are. But that's not what wins elections. It's not. It is not what wins elections. It's insanity, but it's not what wins elections. And you can just feel it's transcending the political theater. And I know a lot of you folks don't like sports and this isn't sports. This is politics. So just stick with me. This is Greg Popovich, the coach of the San Antonio Spurs. He's down in San Antonio. This is South Texas, folks. Listen to what he has to say.
So he's pathetic. He's small. He's a whiner. We all know that. But you wouldn't have him babysit your kids. You wouldn't hire him if you had a small business. You want that man in your business? There's no way. But you're going to vote for him for president because he's strong? Kamala Harris whipped his ass in the debate, just obviously, and he's running ever since. He doesn't want any part of her because, as she said before, she's eaten many of his type for lunch as an attorney general, as a prosecutor. He's a small fry compared to some of the people she's gone after. And he knows it. So all he can do is cut people down, and do what he does. We've all seen all that kind of stuff. The ones that you can be even more angry about, because he's sick. He's a damaged man. He grew up the biggest wannabe there ever was in New York, right? We all know that. He wanted to be in the inner circle, but they laughed at him his whole life. Just like Obama made fun of him at that dinner, and he was about to melt. It angered him so bad, it was scary. But he was never accepted. He was treated like a fool, like a clown. And now he's able to just give the finger to the world because of his position now. And that's what he's doing. He's getting back at everybody because he's so small. He's got to go after everybody, just like we all know the generals and Mike Pence and all that. We've all heard that before. But those people around him, the Grahams, the Cruzes, the Hawleys, the Meadows, McCarthy, McConnell, all those guys, all older white men, which so happens to be, they know He's an ass. They said it. I'm not saying that I think they think that. They've told us that ever since, 2015, 16, all that kind of thing. I mean, they've called him a xenophobic, a religious bigot, a racist, unfit for office, on and on and on. Their words, but they're right there with him. Do they not know that they have children and grandchildren probably that are going to lose freedom if this guy is elected? I'm not talking about a policy. I'm talking about the idea of our country.
Yeah. Where do you get that kind of full-throated, common sense, out of politics? Just where? I mean, what, Harrison Butker, the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs? No, he's not out there making that case. You know where this election is headed. And we had Donald Trump show up like 3 hours late for his rally in Michigan, to a half empty arena, just can't fill them. People are leaving. People are walking out. You've seen the videos over and over and over again. It's getting repetitive. Meanwhile, you've got Kamala Harris that fills Shell Energy State. This is Shell Energy. Let me pull it up for you. Give me just a second. Thank you for the support, Pat Sim. I really appreciate you. I do. $10 is a lot of money, and I'm grateful. Y'all keep this show going, and I'm grateful. This is. Let me pull up Shell Energy Stadium for you. 1 second. This is Shell Energy Stadium. I mean, it holds 30,000 people. Filled the capacity, and everybody on the field. There were 30,000 people this Friday that showed up for the Kamala Harris rally. And I mean, they were excited. They were really excited. And again, I'm not going to play you a bunch of clips of that. I'm not. You've seen it. You know what it's like. I mean, it's been all over social media. You've seen it all week. I mean, for the last 2 days, you've seen it, and you've seen the energy, the folks, the crowds, the way, the happiness. When you're losing, you're not that damn happy. You're not. Look at a Trump rally. These are angry people. These are not people cheering. This is Kamala Harris after her Michigan rally. After her rally in Kamala Zoo. Her and Gretchen Whitmer go out, have a beer. Yeah. Yeah, they don't normally, with 9 days left in the election, you don't normally run out and have a beer. But when you're losing, you don't chill like this. You don't. You just don't. This is early voting in Farmington Hills, Michigan. Remember I told you here in Texas, I was just shocked. I've never had to wait before, to vote. This is Farmington Hills, Michigan. Hold on, let me. So what do you think, folks? Do you think folks are actually excited about Donald Trump and the same old stupid shtick that he's had out there for a decade? Or do you think that's for Kamala Harris? Mr. Knutson, thank you for Kamala for president. Amen. You think that you think that's out for Kamala Harris? Because I'm seeing no excitement like that about Trump. There are no signs around here. There really aren't. There are no yard signs around here. Like I said, there's a couple knuckleheads that I know that are real deep into the cult. Expected them to have, shit, man. They're those nutballs that have multiple Trump stickers all over their car, and it's their identity. You know what I mean? Yeah, those folks have their Trump signs out. But just driving through neighborhoods, None. None. And this is an 85-15 Trump district. In the 2020 election, where Trump lost his ass, there are no Trump signs in this blood red 85-15 Trump district. Marcia Sand, Trump is counting on being handed the presidency after Kamala's landslide victory. That's not a joke, folks. That is not a joke. I want you to listen to this guy. This is Andy Harris. He's in the North Carolina State Legislature. I want you to listen very carefully to what he says. The audio is not really great, so you're going to have to put your phone up to your ear or whatever you're listening on. Listen very carefully. I'll play it twice. It's not a long clip. But listen to what he says.
You statistically can go and say, hey, well, you got disenfranchised in 25 counties. You know what that vote probably would have been, which would be, if I were in the legislature, enough to go, yeah, we got to convene the legislature. We can't disenfranchise the vote. You statistically can go and say, hey, well, you got disenfranchised in 25 counties. You know what that vote probably would have been, which would be, if I were in the legislature, enough to go, yeah, we got to convene the legislature. We can't disenfranchise the vote.
Yeah. It's a tragedy what's happened in North Carolina. And if they were reaching out, the Democrats, you, me, all of them, we would say, hey, our democracy matters. You want to pass some temporary laws to allow these people to have a longer voting period? Folks that have suffered from from the hurricane disasters? Sure, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's let people vote. Let's get it done, man. Whatever it takes, let's do that. No, that's not what they say. No, he says, we know how them people vote. Let's just as a legislature not have the vote and we'll just give it to Trump. Are you kidding me? That sense of entitlement is not rare in the Republican Party. So yes, are we going to have a brawl on our hands post-election? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Are they going to try to cheat? Yes, they are. You watch Arizona Republicans are radical as hell. Watch what they try to do. I mean, they have literally built a fortress around the counting facility in Arizona. It's just insane what everybody's expecting these Republicans to do. And they're not wrong. They're not wrong. This guy is just casually sitting there on camera saying, you know what? I know how they'd have voted. Let's just hand it to Trump. My ass. This is a democracy. And the sad part is, Peg, thank you for the support. I really appreciate you. There are a lot of Trump signs here in southern New Hampshire. Some places there are, but most places there aren't. I appreciate the support, really. Peg, are you telling me, are you feeling excitement for Trump? I am not. And nobody I know of is really saying, oh, man, there's a lot of Trump excitement out there. There just isn't. But you do have these people in the Republican Party that have that sense of entitlement to think that they don't even have to do elections anymore. We just, we'll do what we feel. And that's just so wrong. You've got young people coming up that have never seen what we have seen. Laura Yates, thanks for the support. And we are prepared this time. Put a pin in that. I'm going to come right back to it. You've got kids coming up in their 20s, just turning 18. This is their first election. You've got people in their young 20s. They've never known the world we've known. They've never known an America that had fealty to democracy, that your vote matters. One man, one vote. One woman, one vote. They've only known. I mean, think about that. Everybody that's come up for the last 10 years has been nothing but exposed to this surreal attempted theft of democracy. They don't have it ingrained in them. They don't know what they've lost. And it's just heartbreaking to me. It is just heartbreaking to me. Mr. Dangerfield, or Mrs. Dangerfield, maybe. Let me know in the chat, Mr. or Mrs. Dangerfield. Keep us inspired. I just saw a reel about an old gospel song that says, "We are in an army to save our democracy." Amen. Amen. But yeah, this is what they're trying to recreate. This is a great ad from the Lincoln Project. They're holding that rally tonight, that Madison Square Garden rally tonight. The Trumpers are. There's a history behind it. There's a reason they're trying to do that. They have been screaming out to the bigots. Their entire campaign has been about bigotry. I mean, listen, the whole immigration thing, they're just creating fictional figures, their own desperate reality. Crime statistics don't support anything they say. They create, people eating dogs and cats, and they're taking over whole apartment complexes and stuff that it all proves to be complete debunked fiction. But their entire campaign is based around that bigotry, that hate. And tonight it's going to come to a crescendo. Mr. Edmond, if you can't see Russia's hand in MAGA Republican Party activities, you have been successfully distracted. Amen. Amen. But back in 1939, the bigots had, there are parallels. I always say, read a history book, past is prologue. There are parallels. The rhetoric, everything matches exactly. And Trump, one of the few things that he studies is this crap. And this is what they're going to try to recreate tonight. So I'm going to tell you something that you're probably not going to believe, but it is true. Watch this rally. Watch the message at this rally tonight. We're going to talk about it on Wednesday, because I know they cannot hold this rally and not appeal to the bigots. It is their Super Bowl. But the Lincoln Project just put this ad out, and it is just a replay of the 1939 rally that they held in Madison Square Garden, and a segment from it, and it's just fantastic. It is really good. Let me play it for you real quick. It's Madison Square Garden, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Americans, American patriots, I'm sure I do not come before you tonight as a complete stranger. You all have heard of me through the Jewish-controlled press as a creature with horns, a cloven hoof, and a long tail. We, with American ideals, demand that our government shall be returned to the American people who founded it.
That's a powerful ad. And I do have to apologize if you're watching this on the replay and not instead of live, because it has actual footage, historical footage. YouTube may make me take it down. They may hit me with a copyright ding on that and make me take it down. So if you're watching this and you didn't just get a video, go to the Lincoln Project and take a look at their Madison Square Avenue video. Hopefully they won't ding me for that because it is an ad, intentional ad. So, but if you see all of a sudden the video skips to this speech, they made me cut that out. So just so you know. Mr. Knudsen, thank you for the support. I really appreciate you, man. You're always here to support the show, and I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for our international audience. Yeah, watch this rally tonight. Folks, he wore, in his Michigan rally last night, you know, Trump always wears that same blue suit with the red tie. It's like he bought 20 of these same suits. Last night he wore something different. He wore black and gold as a nod to the Proud Boys and their black and gold. This is a culmination of their bigoted. This is their play to their bigoted base. This Madison Square Garden rally tonight. I am inviting you to watch it. I will have excerpts from it on Wednesday. You know what? I'm glad you bring that up, John. I'm glad you bring that up because we've actually decided to have a talk about canceling our Prime. And I mean, I haven't had a chance to really sit through it. But yeah, I just can't keep doing this. I can't keep giving these people that are playing these games with our country and our freedoms and I just can't. I can't do it. I just can't do it. But look, I want to finish up. I don't want to leave you on that down note. I want you to hear from Brother Tim in Arizona. He's out doing his job. He's out nailing it every day. It is his job as vice president to take the fight to him. I got a couple clips here from Brother Tim.
Yeah, thank you all. You saw it at the convention in Chicago. Those days are over where those guys get to think that they're patriots when all they do is crap on this country. And you saw it. We took the flag back. Kamala, Beyonce, and the rest of you took freedom back. That's for sure. And I'll be damned if Donald Trump will lecture me on what family values are. So we took the flag, we took freedom, we took family values, and this one for me personally, I'm taking football back from them. So there you go. We're going.
Amen, Brother Tim. Amen, Brother Tim. Got one more for you. He's really Tim is on fire, man. Tim is killing it. Tim is killing it.
Somebody asked, you know, how Donald Trump doesn't go on anything, but they asked Kamala Harris exactly every little thing how we're going to fix it. So she answered it. How are you going to pay for this? You know how we could start paying for it? Make Donald Trump pay his damn taxes and the people who are there. That's how we can pay for it. Somebody asked.
Amen, brother. Amen. Every one of his rallies, if you get a chance to see one of his rallies, long form, watch it. Watch the whole thing. He is out there just bringing the fire his entire trip. But I have to tell you, this was beautiful. This was in Michigan. This was Michelle Obama. I got a couple of clips from her. I miss the Obamas so much. It was so nice having a presidency that was filled with eloquent and smart, capable, decent people. You know, a real family. Having a real family in the White House. That was fantastic. that was just, I miss it so much. But here's a couple from Michelle Obama. She was just incredible. I would not want to follow her. She is just bringing it in her speeches.
So I hope you'll forgive me if I'm a little frustrated that some of us are choosing to ignore Donald Trump's gross incompetence while asking Kamala to dazzle us at every turn. I hope that you'll forgive me if I'm a little angry that we are indifferent to his erratic behavior, his obvious mental decline, his history as a convicted felon, a known slumlord, a predator found liable for sexual abuse. All of this while we pick apart Kamala's answers from interviews that he doesn't even have the courage to do, y'all. So
That was good. That was good. You can go to Aaron Rupar or A-Scene. Both of them have posted the full 38 minutes. It is fantastic. I got one more clip for you. It is really worth it. It is really going back. You know, I rave about it. A-Scene and Aaron Rupar, they are posting good stuff. I know X is a hellhole. I know it is. But there are some good things there if you get the right people on your feed.
but to anyone out there thinking about sitting out this election or voting for Donald Trump or a third-party candidate in protest because you're fed up, let me warn you, your rage does not exist in a vacuum. If we don't get this election right, your wife, your daughter, your mother, we as women will become collateral damage to your rage. So are you as men prepared to look into the eyes of the women and children you love and tell them that you supported this assault on our safety?
Yeah, worth watching the whole speech. It really is. She got very real. That was amazing. And she takes Donald Trump to the woodshed multiple times. I want to leave you with one. Thank you for this. I really appreciate. I travel on Trish. I appreciate you, first time supporter. Thank you. I really appreciate the support. I do. Y'all allow this to happen. I couldn't do it full time if it wasn't for y'all. Y'all make this happen. There's no behind the door billionaire funding me. This is Jake Tapper. I've talked about how the mood's changing. You're getting people that are more and more outspoken. I think there's parts of the media that are starting to really wake up to what they've done, trying to make this a horse race just to collect some cash. This is Jake Tapper sitting down with J.D. Vance. Juxtapose Tim Walz and J.D. Vance. You can feel who's winning and who's losing. You can just feel what's going on in this race. And tell me this isn't shocking coming from Jake Tapper.
Ask you something about John Kelly specifically, because you said the other day, quote, I guarantee John Kelly talked to somebody on Kamala Harris's campaign beforehand, before he did this interview. Now, I've spoken with people in John Kelly's circle, and I've spoken with people in the Kamala Harris campaign. They say there's been no communication the entire time. So where did that come from?
Oh, I'm highly skeptical of that, Jake. You know the way that these attacks work. You know the way that these people are often vetted by a campaign.
So you made it up.
Before something goes out
Boom.
there. No, I said that the American media and the American Democratic Party apparatus works a certain way. If it comes out that John Kelly never even spoke with a person in the Kamala Harris orbit, then I'm happy. You're telling me that based on secondhand conversations with John Kelly. And it's interesting. We've now spent, Jake, 3 minutes.
Secondhand conversation with the actual guy?
That he never spoke with anyone in Kamala Harris's orbit. I'm happy to apologize to John Kelly for misstating.
No, he won't. He'll pretend he never said it.
The Atlantic magazine. But let's talk about who did he deliver this news to? To Jeffrey Goldberg, a guy who lied.
Yeah. Tapper takes him to the woodshed a couple times over this. You don't see that in the press normally. They normally just let them filibuster like that. They don't challenge anything. You're really starting to see that happen. And I think that the media is waking up. And again, I want to know your thoughts on this. But I think that the media is really starting to wake up to the reality that, yeah, we're not going to shrug this shit off. That the damage you're doing to your reputation is forever. There's no going back for Jeff Bezos or CNN or the Washington Post or the LA Times or Elon Musk. You can't put the crap back in the horse. At a time when we're staring down the barrel of fascism that these billionaires obviously see as true and are in fear of opposing, we saw what you did. Volqueen, thank you so much for the support. Thank you, Texas Paul, for this important live feed. Join us at the top of the hour with Tennessee Brando with his special guest. Yeah, absolutely. Love my friend Brando. I do. He does great stuff. But yeah, that's what I want to leave you with, folks. As I've watched everything unfold this week and we sit down to do our Sunday recap of everything, that's what I really want to leave you with. Faye Brewster says, I'm glad they're coming around, but I won't use these people for any of my news anymore. Thank you. That's exactly what I'm about to sum up. If you keep your foot on the gas and you keep showing up, we're going to win this. We are. The wind is at our back. We're doing this. It's almost over. A week from Tuesday, and we're done. I think we're going to have a real conversation going forward. I think a lot of people are going to have to be canceled permanently. I think Tesla's got to go. I think Elon Musk has to go. I think that every business he's involved in, there are questions about his relationships to Russia, who is our geopolitical enemy. We were having conversations about nuclear exchanges for Christ's sake. Not 50 years ago, not 100 years ago. Last year. Earlier this year. This is not okay. Jeff Bezos, it's not okay for you to call for the candidate of one party to step down full-throatedly and then say, well, we're not going to endorse, when your entire editorial staff says, yeah, this is freaking crazy. We've got a fascist and we've got somebody that's qualified. This is a no-brainer. We're going to endorse Kamala Harris. You know, and it's not even payback. It's not about that. It's not payback. It's just you're useless. CNN has become useless. Fox always has been. They're dangerous now. We've come to a point, a crossroads in our country, where we're staring down the barrel of actual fascism. You have a candidate telling us that they're going to engage in mass deportations. You've got a candidate where people are saying they're going to, U.S. citizens, they're going to deport. They're going to set up camps just like the Nazis did. They're going to hold a Nazi-style rally tonight in Madison Square Garden. They've tried to revive the racism and the bigotry and give it breath and give it momentum in this country. It's not okay. What you did is not okay. And it's not about payback. It's about you're useless. And I hope I'm not the only one out there that feels that way. Well, folks, that's what I have for you today. I enjoy spending time with you. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.